far. I didn't film too much of this side, but I'm just gonna walk through what I pretty much did. I decided that I want to cover up this area where the turbo is gonna sit. I got a sheet metal, basically made my measurements on how, the length between right and here. I made my measurements. I didn't really use a template because, I just didn't have to. You cut more than you have to, and make your final measurements when you're doing mock-up. But I previously tried to weld this piece together, but the metal is so thin. I just keep blowing through it. I mean, I made a few good beads, but that was pretty much my luck right there. So I had to resort to using rivets. I got a rivet gun from Harbor Freight. So that's what I use. I have I think that's 12 gallon. I have a 12-gallon air compressor, so I'm using that. And the way how the rivet works, you have to make your hole. You have to pre-drill your hole, and you put your rivets in. Let's see if I can get one. These are your rivets. This is what your rivet is gonna look like. This is what your rivet is gonna look like. You pretty much put this end inside of your rivet, like so. Put it inside. You can go in there just like that. Put it inside just like that. You put this end inside your hole. Pull the trigger. It's gonna pretty much suck this piece in. It's gonna bend, go all the way in, go through the back, and pretty much this is what it's gonna look like. All the way. I have one. There's only one holding this. That's pretty much all I needed. And the bottom part is pretty much sturdy. All the way. Ain't going nowhere. But I have to tackle this side. This side haven't been done yet. That's what it pretty much looked like without a plate right there. So I'm trying to eliminate. Basically, there was a piece of plastic that used to go right here. So I removed both plastic from both sides. I didn't really like the plastic because my wheel setup was rubbing. It was eating my plastic. So using the metal plate. Trying to tack up this side tonight before I go to bed. So this is where so first things first, I have to pre-drill a hole. I have to make my final mock-up, get it to where I want to be. This is pretty much how I want it. That's pretty much how I want it right there. So I have to pre-drill my first hole right there. Pre-drill my first hole, and to hold it in place so I can get the rest at the bottom. I pretty much I might have overdid it on the other side, but I might just drill. I might just put one space amount, 2 inches, maybe an inch. No, probably 2 inches or 3 inches. Probably one right here, another right here, one right here, and the last one at the edge. I'll probably put 4 instead of 5. But on this side, notice how it has this little flat line. I can put it perfectly sit right here. And like I said, I gotta work my way up. I already made my mark. Notice how there's a hole right here. I don't want to pre-drill a hole where the rivet is not gonna sit properly. So you can see where I made my mark. This is a black marker. I don't know if you can see it, but yeah, I made 2 marks of where the hole is gonna be. I didn't do it for the top side simply because I don't think I'm gonna have a rivet right here, so I'm gonna pretty much stop right before that. And last but not least, I'm gonna get the top part, and that should be it. That should be how this should be mocked up. My core drill. The bit size that I'm using for a 1/8 of an inch rivet. I got these from Harbor Freight as well. 1/8 of an inch rivet diameter. I got the bit size as well. I tried using the 1/8 of an inch bit size at first. I pretty much broke it the second hole. Once I reached to the second rivet, I tried to make my hole. Pretty much broke. So I moved over to next size 9/64. So this is what I have on my drill. Pretty much made a perfect hole for the 1/8 of an inch. The 1/8 of an inch probably wouldn't have worked. It was too tight, so I had to make the hole a little bit bigger. But that pretty much worked. Okay, so I made my first hole, so I'm gonna put my rivet through that one. Let that stay right there. So I'm gonna. So these rivets came in different sizes. Depending on how deep your hole is, or what you're trying to rivet, depending on the thickness of the metal. See how this one is pretty much too long, it goes way out. You want something a little bit shorter. So let's see. I'm gonna go with this one. This one's a good length right here. This one's a good length. Notice when you put your hole, you're gonna go, it's gonna be like that. I don't want it sticking out too long. And this one is probably too short. Yeah, I don't know about this one. I don't want to run the risk of it not. Excuse my painty hands. Alright, so I got my rivet gun all set up. I have to get a new tip because this one is leaking. It's pretty old, but I'm going to fix that issue tomorrow. So I'm gonna make my first rivet placement. Put this straight in the hole here. Let me see, make sure y'all can see that real good. Put it in my hole. Alright, so that's tacked into place. Just like that. So that's held on. So now I can finish, making my final adjustments. Make sure my top part is straight. Make sure when I put a rivet right here in this corner that I can still get the top all the way down that way. But I'm gonna tackle the bottom first and then get to the left corner and then the top. I mean, whichever way you want to do it that makes you comfortable. Another example on my third hole. Just like that. Just like that. 1, 2, 3. I'm gonna place my last rivet at the bottom, at the end, and that should be it. There we go. Alright, we're gonna squeeze. There we go. Basically want to hear that, loud click. guys. All right, so the bottom is all tacked up. I used 4. I spaced them out 3 inches instead of 2. I realized it's not necessary. It's really not necessary to do just 2 inches apart and drilling a lot of holes. So 4. I realized 4 is just enough. It's sturdy at the bottom. I tried going ahead and drilling my sides, and this happened. It broke. No, I'm afraid drill bits are cheap and all, but they can be pretty freaking cheap. So I broke my 1/8 and I broke my 9/64. So I have the results of my 532s for right now. All right, got my other drill bit. I basically moved up a size. I did 1 hole and another up top. So I'm pretty much gonna use 2 rivets for the sides. You don't need that much rivets for the sides. And then I'm just gonna finish my top piece. And that should be it for this side. So I'll see you when I get there. Guys, I'm down to my last 2 rivets. I gotta make another hole right here. Make my last hole right here. And I should be done with this side. Alright, my last hole right here. Miscalculated. I actually tried to drill this part right here. Realized it was taking way too long. And I looked underneath and realized there's a bolt right behind it. You can't really see it, but there's a bolt right behind the piece right here. So I shifted over like an inch and drilled through in less than 3 seconds. So that's that. Gonna get my rivet gun. Already have my rivet in there. Gonna get these last 2 rivets in. Just like that. Try to get it in. And just like that. And boom. Probably hit one more time. There we go. And the screw just goes right. What's left to the rivet just goes right in there. I'm gonna get my other rivet in there. See. Just like that. Get my last rivet in. Just like that. Add a little pressure. And there we go. Last piece. Last piece finally in. It's pretty sturdy. It's not going anywhere. Pretty happy about my piece. Yeah, there used to be a ABS bracket right here. I basically used the grinding wheel. I didn't use the grinding wheel, but you know, I used a metal blade and pretty much just work my way. Use the pry bar. You're gonna need a pry bar, kind of like pry it open because it is like kind of like rivet on there, so it's on there pretty good. But once you have that off, this is what you're gonna pretty much left off with. Well, I kind of did it pretty harshly, but I'm gonna grind down this area right here, and I deleted most of my studs. Stud right here. Get this light so you can see better. Okay, that's way better. There was a stud right here. 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 Another stud right here. Another one right here. And the last one was right here. So oh yeah, there's another one right here. So the studs that were cut, pretty much gonna grind it all down to bare metal and fill it in smooth another thing right here. These little dents. I don't know what these for, but they were there. This hole, I'm gonna cover up this hole. I'm not gonna worry about that. But pretty much everything's gonna be baby smooth right here. I'm gonna do what I can. Really happy about both sides here. Came out really good. Never did this before, but it's all a learning process. You know, I'm in an enclosed garage right now. I'm in my garage. I can't really zoom out. It's as far as I can zoom, but that's pretty much what it's gonna look like once you do go this route. You know, you don't have to go this route. This is only a route for people that, you know, either don't have a welder or don't know how to weld, or if they don't know how to weld a thin sheet metal such as this. This is 0.70 millimeters thick, or I could say thin. Very thin sheet of metal. So if you don't know how to weld thin sheet metal, you will blow through this and you will fail unless you mastered on how to do it properly. But there's always a way around a lot of things. So I resort to using rivets, and they work. It's just an alternative. Just gotta find another way to do things. But that side's done and this side's done. I'm really proud of myself. I may do things pretty wrong, but hey, I like how it turned out. Now that everything is tacked up, it's time to start grinding my metals down, grinding my studs down. Got a lot of stick out, got a lot of rough spots. So I'm gonna use my angle grinder. I have a DeWalt angle grinder, so I'll use this. Grind down my studs and things like that. Get it all smooth and get it prepped for Bondo fiberglass. What I've done so far, I grinded down 2 studs that were right here. Grinded this stud down flush. It's pretty flush. It's a good amount right there. There's another stud right here that I grinded down flat. And I need to go over, I haven't touched this one, this one, this one. There's another over here. Right here, and get out the way right there. So yes, there's a few I have to go back over. There's a few that I haven't hit. I have to hit this bit right here. This one has been grinded down and filled. You know, this is where the ABS bracket was. So it's gonna leave off this look. And depending on how you remove it. I removed it pretty aggressive. So this is what you will get. But I'm gonna make sure this area is super smooth. Successfully grinded down the parts that I'm gonna bondo and fill, smoothen out. I pretty much got everything smooth, studs removed. I do have holes that needs to be filled, but I'm gonna tackle that. You're gonna see how I'm gonna tackle that later on. Got this side smoothed out as well. ABS bracket is fully smoothed and removed. Studs, everything like that. So I guess next up, just gonna clean off the area, clean off the surface. You know, use the air compressor and blow out all these, you know, paint shavings and metal shavings and things like that. All the paint dust got everywhere. Just grinding this area off. So I guess in the next video